Hey guys, so in today's video, we're going to break down an absolutely beautiful 1 to 2 risk to reward trade that we took on US30 just last week. Now, the beautiful thing about this trade is that not only was I able to take this myself, but so was everyone else in the Discord because I actually sent it into the VIP group. That means we were all able to profit together. And the other beautiful thing is that the trade literally hit take profit in less than 20 minutes. This means we were in and out of the markets super quick. And that was it. We're done for the day and we can go off and enjoy whatever else we had planned. But let's jump straight into this trade breakdown so that you guys can understand exactly why we took this trade. To give you guys some sort of receipts, here is the US30 buy limit that I sent into the VIP Discord. Now, the reason why I send it as a screenshot along with the numbers is so that I can hold myself accountable. If the trade hits a stop loss, there's no way I can edit this screenshot. Therefore, I have to account for losses and also the wins. But this trade was sent alongside a EU buy limit as well, and these were both taken on Monday. Now, as you can see, I sent the buy limit after we had this market structure shift, which is what we're about to get into. And then literally 20 minutes later, we had TP hit for a plus 2%. Not only that, but also the EU trade limit also hit TP for another 2%. That means we kicked off the week with a positive 4% gain on the account. Now, if you were looking to become part of the VIP group, then click that link down in the description and come and say hi. But without further ado, let's jump straight into this trade analysis. Here I have a checklist specifically made for the Judas swing. Now, the reason why I have this checklist is because not only does it hold us accountable to only taking trades that fit the criteria, but we also know that if all of the checkboxes are ticked, that means it is good to go to be able to take that trade. So first and foremost, we have the rules, which is number one, we have to look for a 5-minute market structure shift. Not 1 minute, not 10 minute, 5-minute market structure shift. Number two, we enter on the fair value gap or the order block that actually created that market structure shift. Number three, we target a minimum of a 1-to-1 risk to reward. This means if it's not a minimum of a 1-to-1, then we do not take that trade and we leave it alone, no matter how good it looks. And number four, we mark out the Asia high and low between the times of midnight and 7 a.m. UK time. Now, if you're not from the UK, then you're going to have to adjust this according to your time zone. But as simply as that, we only mark out the time zones between midnight and 7 a.m. Now, the reason why I do these times is because this is what I have found to be the perfect sweet spot for the Asia range liquidity. Now, other people might argue that it may be 11 a.m. to 6 a.m. UK time. Some people might say it's 1 a.m. in the morning until, 10 p.m. UK time. Who knows? Everyone is going to have different time zones. Everyone is going to have different ideas of where they think the Asia session should be. These are the time zones that I've specifically found from my backtesting to work the best for me. If you have other times, then please feel free to use those. Now let's quickly get into the trade plan. So we mark out our Asia high and low. We wait for a sweep of either the high or the low. We identify a 5-minute market structure shift after we've had the sweep. Then we take our entry on the order block or fair value gap that caused the market structure shift. And we simply take a minimum of a 1-to-1 risk to reward, otherwise no trade. And last but not least, we take profit at the opposing liquidity. So just to give you an example, if we sweep the high, then we take profit at the low. If we sweep the low, we take profit at the high. And last but not least, we put our stop loss below or above the most local low. So that is our checklist. Now let's actually jump into the trade and US30 trade. Woken up nice and early and we've come onto our charts at exactly 6 a.m. UK time. So what do we see when we look at the charts? Well, first and foremost, we go onto the higher time frames to see if there's any key areas that we can identify that price can potentially push towards. So taking a look at this price action, we can very clearly see that number one, price is consolidating within this range. But number two, if we take a deeper look within this range, we can see that price created a series of lower lows and lower highs, but then it actually broke above this previous lower high and put in this new higher high. Therefore, if we take a look at expectational order flow, then that tells us after a higher high is formed, we should anticipate a higher low and then a continuation of the new trend, which should give us a new higher high. Therefore, in this instance, we would be looking at this in a bearish glance, and therefore we should be looking to long US30, but we have to identify where we're going to anticipate this higher low to come in. So for that, we have to identify what is going on with this structure. Well, if we take a look at this structural point right here, we can see that anything beyond this point is pretty efficient because we can see that this order block down here has been mitigated. This fair value gap has also been mitigated. Therefore, this area is pretty efficient, and all of this is also very efficient. Therefore, with that understanding, we now take a look at what is left that is inefficient. Well, first and foremost, we can very easily identify that we've got this very nice fair value gap right below where currently price is trading. So this tells me that there is a high potential that price is going to push low into the fair value gap, give us that higher low, and then give us that continuation to give us a brand new higher high. Now, with this anticipation, I identified this fair value gap, and now I moved on to actually marking out my Asia session range. Now, I don't want to go through the headache of actually marking this out myself. So what I do is I use this indicator called the Asian session range. And all this simply does is identify the range between midnight and 7 a.m. UK time so that I don't have to. So as we can see, this right here is the high of the Asia session, and this right here is the low of the Asia session. We've marked out our Asia session high and low, and now we're waiting for a sweep, and then we have to identify a 5-minute market structure shift. Back to our charts, if we drop down to the 5-minute, we now know that we want price to sweep the Asia low and tap into this fair value gap that we've identified. So if I play price on, we can see that price does exactly that. It pushes low into that fair value gap. And then, as we can see, price then breaks below it, giving us a break of structure to the downside. Now, once we get that break of structure, we can identify this as our lower high. So if we quickly go back and analyze what structure is doing to see how we got to that conclusion, we can see that price was creating a series of lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high, and now a brand new lower low. Therefore, in order for us to get that market structure shift, we now have to let price break this lower high so that we can get a higher high. And then from there, we can anticipate a higher low and then a continuation higher. That is what expectational order flow tells us, and that is also what is in line with the Judas swing trading strategy. Therefore, now that we've had this breaker structure to the low, we've identified this lower high. Now we simply just wait for price to break that lower high to give us that 5-minute market structure shift. So have you noticed that price also swept the low and tapped into our fair value gap? Now we're expecting a reaction out of this fair value gap, and that reaction should give us enough momentum to actually give us that market structure shift. So now if I play price on, we can see that right there, price has the momentum to actually give us that market structure shift, which means we've now shifted from bearish to bullish. So now we can identify that price is potentially going to pull back, giving us a higher low, and then we're going to get that continuation to give us that brand new higher high. So with that in mind, we've identified our market structure shift. So now if we go back to our Judas swing checklist, we now take our entry on the order block or fair value gap that caused the market structure shift. We make sure it's a minimum of a 1-to-1 risk to reward. We take profit at the opposing liquidity, which in this case is going to be the Asia high. And we put our stop loss just below that most local low. So now if we jump back onto the charts, we can actually start to identify this trade setup. So first and foremost, this is the order block that actually gave us that market structure shift out. Therefore, this is the order block that we are now going to be taking our entry from. So we identify the order block, we put our entry at the open, stops go just below the low, and we target the opposing liquidity, which in this case would be the Asia high. So we've now got our trade set up. Once all of this is played out, I've now gone over into the Discord and I've sent this trade to everyone in the VIP group. I've said, we've had the market structure shift, we've swept the lows, we've tapped the fair value gap, and we are going to be taking our entry at that order block. So I've now sent it into the VIP group. Everyone has input this limit into their MetaTrader or whatever trading platform they're on. And now we simply just wait. So again, if I play price on, we can see that price taps straight into our order block right there, entering us into this position. And then from there, literally within 20 minutes, we run straight to take profit. And that is simply it. That is the Judas swing trading strategy in a nutshell. If you simply just follow that checklist, you too can also take these beautiful trades that are able to give us not only 2% on this USD trade, but also another 2% on the EU trade, giving us a net total of 4% made on just that Monday. Now, 4% on a $100,000 funded account is $4,000. That is more than somebody's monthly salary, and you've just made that in one day, just taking the Judas swing setup. Now, it can't get any easier than this. So please go ahead and take this trading strategy and utilize it in your day-to-day trading, because I can guarantee you, if you just learn this inside and out, your trading will go to the next level. I hope you guys enjoyed that trade breakdown and you were able to take away some key information which you can now start to utilize within your day-to-day trading. Now, I've been teaching this strategy on my YouTube for the last 9 months, and we've actually utilized this exact same trading strategy to make an average of 10% every single month this year so far. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed that trade breakdown, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.